He is 6'6", 246 pounds of twisted steel, and his first name means handsome. You can look it up. From the Atlanta Falcons, tight end Kyle Pitts. What's up, Kyle? How you doing, man?
How y'all doing?
What's up, brother?
Dude, it's great to see you. Tell us about the shirt. What is that shirt? And we don't get to see with glasses either. You look totally different than the dude we see on Sunday.
Yeah, the glasses, wear them every day. I wouldn't say I have the best vision, but the shirt is it's something that me and my friend came up with because my last name is Pitts and PittStop, and it kind of, going along with NASCAR. It's kind of cool to me. But the Falcons gave me a podcast and, wound up coming out with a PittStop podcast. So it's something that, some shirts that I'm getting out. This is something that, I'm branding now.
Everybody in Atlanta, get the PittStop Tour T-shirt, listen to the PittStop podcast. And you know who you got to have on there? Mr. Podcast, Mr. Media, Kirk Cousins. You guys already have chemistry on the field. I know you would have it on the pod. Kyle, tell us what it's like with this guy. He comes in out of nowhere. I'm sure you've seen him before earlier in his career. Everybody kind of is aware of Kirk Cousins. What's been the experience like from when you first met him to right now headed into this game?
I mean, it's been great. Kirk's just like another teacher out there on the field, just another coach, teaching us the game. And he's seen, multiple people, multiple different stars and, different tight ends and receivers and great players that he's played with over his years. And just to learn from him and see how he operates in the game, helps me play faster.
All right, so I got to ask you, man, and I want you to keep it real with me here. So last week, we know that it was tight ends day. You guys have a national holiday. I'm a little jelly, so I'm going to kind of put a little disrespectful tone on it. You guys had your day. Did you guys all get on a call, a text thread, and yo, we are all going to take off? You went off for 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. How is it playing in this offense for the Falcons?
Well, first, shout out to all the tight ends. It was great to see, the historic day that we had. But no, it's just great, just, trying to contribute any way in this offense I can. And, when the ball, comes to me, just to make the most of it and, utilize my opportunities.
Yeah, did you have a specific, it's tight ends day. I'm about to go off. I'm about to act a fool on this field?
I mean, it's definitely a holiday for, for one of the greatest positions to play it. But that's always the plan. It's always the plan each week.
All right.
Kyle, I played for the Saints, once upon a time. And so, this is a lot coming from a Who Dat, bro. I'm very happy for, what you're able to do this year. So happy. I picked you up in fantasy, dog. You was on my fantasy football team, and you was balling. So I really appreciate it. But you guys are sitting atop the NFC South and taking on a Dallas team this week. They have a lot of young linebackers, a lot of athletic linebackers. What are you looking forward to the most in this matchup?
I mean, Dallas is just a great team, great defense. It'll be a competitive game on both, all 3 phases. And just to go against those guys and, win your matchups is one of the keys for this week.
Well, Kyle, it's great to have you on. I wore my Falcons sweatshirt because I knew we were going to have you here today, Sundays in Atlanta. But you're balancing this act of having 2 jobs, as we kind of talked about, with your shirt specifically. PittStop in your podcast. What inspired you to host this show, and what is the balance like of being full-time football but also having this podcast?
I would just say, the Falcons came to me with the opportunity, and they were saying, it's time you start showing people your real personality. And, I got some friends to kind of help curate the different, details in it, and, try and get different guests to have different variations of, personality on the show. And it's pretty cool to see, how the production's coming apart.
Oh, it's really cool to see. That looks great. I absolutely love it. And I love that you want to show parts of your personality, and you should, because I know there's so much there. I know there's also a lot of personality, Kyle, still coming from Buccaneers fans who swear to this day that you fumbled at the goal line against them. Now, for anybody who forgets this, Kyle's running with the ball, and he's about to score, and Antoine Winfield comes, and the ball comes out. They call it a touchdown. They look at it. They can't overturn it. There's not a camera angle, all this stuff. Can you take us through that play, Kyle, and what you remember about it and the aftermath of it after the ball came out and they looked at it?
Yeah, first, just ball security is important. I shouldn't have let it even, get into the ref's hand. Should have just ran through the back of the end zone. But got pretty lax at the end, and, he knocked it out. But, the tight end guy saved us that day, and, I wasn't a victim of it being turned over to a touchback. So that was lovely.
With respect to the tight end gods, I also have to speak for the safety gods. Just go on the record now, Kyle, because it's over with. They can't change anything. Was that a fumble or a touchdown?
That was a touchdown in my book.
With the
No,
Very smart, Pitts.
Face in a deep voice.
You're a sharp one, Pitts. You're going places in this world. Listen, also, as part of PittStop, we showed some of the video just recently. Driver training at Sonoma Raceway in California. All kinds of crazy Fast and Furious stuff going on. Take us behind the wheel. What's it like?
I mean, that was different. Seeing actually like professional drivers, being in a passenger and then them trying to put me to the test. So I learned some new things about kind of like, safety and crash prevention that kind of helped me, learning like, different parts of the car of what they do as a professional job is, what I do with football. So just learning that, and that was pretty cool. And just driving fast, and got an episode coming today, later this evening.
Oh, look at that. Look at the pit stop, and there's Cousins. Like, this looks incredible. Kyle, I have to wonder, was it more difficult for Kirk Cousins to drive because he's used to driving a 1994 minivan?
I would say it was a little harder for him. He did have one of the slower times. And we have some other guests. Yeah, we have some other guests that may have did even worse. So you got to stay tuned.
Ooh, we call that a tease. But Kyle, I know you're not going fast in that Atlanta traffic, man. You're bumper to bumper all the time. I do want to, though, talk about your son. Very special looking at your social media. His birthday is in just a couple of days. How has fatherhood either changed your outlook, or does that give you that extra oomph on a Sunday?
Yeah, it's just amazing. Just always having him in the back of my mind, just knowing that, I'm a senior and I have somebody that's looking up to me. And I have somebody to play for, along with my family. But that's just it's totally different being a father, having that, that title, and just, seeing him at the end of the game. He doesn't know if I did good or bad. He makes the days even better.
That's really cool, man. We all got kids here in the show, and we respect that you do, especially after Halloween. Like, I don't know how much sugar and candy is lying all over your house right now, but I've seen you before. You could probably eat 5 pounds of it and not even gain an ounce. So you're the man, Kyle. I love that you came on the show. Continue with the pit stop tour. We love it, and keep playing ball for the Falcons.
Thank y'all for having me.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you, Kyle.
You need to learn how to swaddle, man. I
Dude
can
right
show
there,
you the
Kyle
swaddle.
Pitts.
Pit stop there with Kyle Pitts from the Atlanta Falcons. No slowing him down in a car, on the field. You'll find him in the end zone.